Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special Green Hell video from me, the Gazbeard, and thanks for watching it. There's a new roadmap and a new patch has been released, and on the roadmap, which is the graphic you can see on screen right now, there are some very interesting new features that we did not expect. First one, plant cultivation. We're going to be able to plant, grow and collect from our own cultivated gardens. And the graphic seems to show that it's going to be the standard mud mixer construct, which is 8 logs, 4 sticks, 8 logs. And you drop in 2 sets of river mud. And it looks like you then plant in the space between the 2 sets of river mud. Expanded shelters. Expand your camp shelter with additional floors. And looking at the graphic that they've put up there, they're showing a construct with 3 ceiling levels, which could technically be floors, and if they don't introduce some sort of half-height wall or fence, then that could technically mean 4 floor levels if you include ground level. Co-op mode. Survive in the Amazon together with up to 4 players in our most requested feature, co-op mode. Well, we know it's the most requested feature. The Steam forums or discussions and the Green Hell Discord is just absolutely flooded with people asking about that every day. They just don't read the existing threads and comments, and they just keep asking for it. Maybe this will help to shut them up. Content update. New playable content. It's a surprise, is the comment underneath the graphic on Steam. It's a surprise. New playable content. What's it going to be? New maps? New animals? New things to do? It's going to be exciting times. And console versions. Green Hell will be making its way to both Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Stay tuned for more details in the future. Now, they seem to be saying that console controller type support is going to be coming when they introduce the expanded shelters. Or it might just be poor placement of that little sub-graphic, and it might just mean sometime in 2019 that's going to arrive. I'm sure there'll be people very happy about that. Personally, it doesn't affect me. I use keyboard and mouse, so not really too worried about that. Now, when are they coming? As you can see on the graphic, plant cultivation, or farming if you want to call it that, and expanded shelters are coming this year, so expect them before the new year. Could be any time. It could be this month, next month, or December, if they stick to that 2019 date on there. Co-op mode. We have known for some time that it will be coming either late in 2019 or early in 2020. We just don't know exactly, and neither do the devs. They are working very, very hard on it. Their answers in their Discord repeatedly mention that they are working on it, and that they have had several sprints on it since final release of version 1.0 of Green Hell. The content update and the console versions will come sometime in 2020. That's all that we know about it so far. Right, this latest patch that has come out, version 1.0.3, is a hotfix, and the hotfix notes state the following items have been fixed. In story mode, the ayahuasca cauldron can be used during a walkie-talkie dialogue. Now, they don't say whether they've fixed it so that it can't be used, or it's been fixed so that it can be used. We don't know which was it's supposed to do and which it wasn't supposed to do. But whatever it was, they've fixed it so that it now performs correctly. Also fixed, the small fire and the campfire burnout timer is not sped up during sleep. Again, they don't say whether it was supposed to be sped up when you were sleeping, or if it was meant to just continue at the normal rate. Now, I suspect it was supposed to speed up while you were sleeping, and it was not doing so, because I've noticed that on a few of my videos and streams that's the case, that I can push in an 8-hour sleep and I wake up and the amount of the fire that has burnt down, or the amount of fuel that has burnt down, is the equivalent to going for an in-game 1-hour walk outside wherever the fire is set and coming back. So it looks like the fires and campfires were not burning down quick enough while you were sleeping, and that they've now fixed that, and it takes account of the speeded up time while you're sleeping and reduces the fire remaining duration by the number of hours that you were sleeping, rather than just the standard timer clock for the number of minutes that you've been playing. Fixed. Sometimes food decays when a save is loaded. Now I have noticed that, particularly in connection with the large dryer that you find at the abandoned village south of the cave that is just west of the plane crash site, the one on the small river bend. Number of vomits in the pause menu shows the number of days survived instead. They've fixed that, so now it should actually show the number of vomits, not the number of days. A lot of people have commented on this. I've noticed it myself. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos. It'll be nice to see that fixed, especially for people who are perfectionist survival runners, where they want to have 0 vomits in their save. Also fixed. Items that player picks up but has no place for in backpack don't stay in place. This could mean one of two things. For example, if you've got 10 fat sticks on your backpack and you go to pick up an 11th one, you pick it up, it jumps up in the air and bounces around and falls back down where it was. Either it's not going to do that anymore, or you simply won't be able to pick it up and you'll just get a warning that your backpack is full. Or it could be that some items that you pick up, if you have no space, let's say you pick up a can of food, a tin of food, for example within the plane crash cave, or at the fishing dock, or some of the other locations such as Anaconda Island. When you pick them up, if you've got no space, they don't drop back to where they were. They kind of jump a few meters away from where they were originally positioned. So hopefully that's been fixed. Also fixed, bird nests duplicate their contents if the player tries to pick up the nest with no space. So on the same screen for the backpack where you have your sticks and your ropes, at the bottom you have 3 slots for putting in birds' nests or fibre, such as harvested unknown herbs, the ones that you use to make lily dressings. If you try to pick up a 4th item to go into those, normally what happens is that the bird's nest, because it's usually a bird's nest, just falls onto the ground next to the tree or log where it was situated. I've not personally noticed the contents of the bird's nest duplicating, so going from 1 feather to 2 feathers or 1 egg to 2 eggs, I've not noticed it doing that. Generally, in terms of eggs, I've either found 1 or 2 eggs within a nest anyway. Also fixed, eating a can directly from storage does not return the empty can. Now I know that if you have a can sitting on the floor and you just right click eat, the empty can will stay there and you'll get the benefit of the food that was in it. I can't say that I've noticed that if you eat a can from the food section of your backpack that you don't get the can in your tools and materials section of your backpack, because I've usually got space in there anyway and the can has always appeared for me. But I can imagine some people not getting it, and either the can trying to drop on the floor and just not spawning, or dropping on the floor and dropping through the floor. I have seen that dropping through the floor at the drug lab in the dormitory building, where you pick up an empty can to put it in your backpack. You've got no space, so it falls down, and instead of landing on the floor, it drops through the floor underneath the building. Luckily there, you can go outside and go around the building and pick it up from underneath. Fixed. An item change position in backpack in player's save. Yes, I've had this many times. Excuse me. You have your backpack all nicely organised. You do a save, or you get killed and reload a save, and everything in your backpack jumps all over the place, and that none of them are in the position where you had them. Be great for them to have fixed that, because it saves you 5 minutes reorganising your backpack every time. Fixed. A boiling sound remains in game after drinking the soup. I've had it a few times. You've got a, for example, a coconut bowl or a turtle shell on the fire with soup in it, bone soup, or one of the vegetable or fruit soups. And it's bubbling away, and you drink it and the sound remains. But it's not every time that that happens. What I have seen more often is where you drink the soup and you pick the bowl up, or drink the water and pick the bowl up, and you put it into your backpack, and you then get the boiling sound constantly while it's in the backpack. Fixed. The roofs are transparent, so that'll be the palm leaf and the banana leaf roofs, which have gone semi-transparent since final release, which in a way I quite like, because you can see through them and look up hills and see if locals are coming to attack you. But they're going back to their normal opaque level. Fixed. A cutscene should be skipped when skipping the tutorial. Not sure what they're meaning by that. I presume some of the cutscenes were remaining and playing through even though you'd skipped the tutorial. Hasn't affected me, but I'm sure it's affected some people. Fixed. The game crashes after loading the save in the tutorial, causing problems with bandaging wound. So I presume what the meaning there is, some people were saving the tutorial partway through, then reloading it, and when they tried to bandage the wound from falling down off the snapped rope, that the game then crashed.
You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, if they have, then full marks to them. Fixed. Cannot attack or use triggers after using the map with the watch. Now, I've seen a few streamers and a few YouTubers who constantly pull out the map, look at their smartwatch, look at the compass on the smartwatch with the map out, and then off they go through the jungle. And generally, after a few steps, they get hit by a spider or a snake or a puma or something jumps out of the bush at them. I've only once in those situations seen somebody complain that they could not use a weapon when they got attacked like that by a cat. So it's possibly a rare bug, but they've fixed it anyway. They've also fixed changing the weapon from the fishing rod can cause problems. So you're out fishing, or you're carrying the fishing rod, and you hit the hotkey 1, 2, 3 or 4 to switch to a weapon, and something strange is happening. They've fixed that, whatever that might be. Don't think I've suffered from it myself. Don't remember it. But again, good that they've fixed it. Also fixed, arrows in the bow trap get bigger on every game save or load cycle. I wish I'd seen that one. I would love to have a screenshot or a video clip of that. A bow trap with a giant multi-meter long arrow in it. That would be fantastic. Fixed. Constructions sometimes duplicate themselves. Can't say that I've ever seen that one, but it's possible when you sometimes get the error message that you can't place a construction because the space is already occupied. Maybe you've got an invisible duplicate there, or an invisible original, and you're trying to place a duplicate on top of that invisible original. I have seen that in Conan Exiles, and I'm wondering if they've got the same issue in, or had the same issue in Green Hell, and they've managed to fix it. Also fixed, no ambient sounds after reloading a save. I've only ever had that when reloading a save after death. I've never had it with a fresh startup of the game. So I think it's related to the rollback from death and reloading the save. They've fixed it. Great. Also fixed. Wood resin taken from dead trees can have different sizes and position in backpack. Wood resin is supposed to stack. I don't know what the maximum stack is, but in my current story mode run through, I've got 3 pieces of resin in the backpack. They are different sizes, and if I take them out of the backpack and put them on the ground, they're also different sizes. And in fact, in one of this week's episodes, I did that as I was trying to leave the illegal gold mine, and the size of the piece of resin that I put on the ground was bigger than one of the tortoises. Fixed. A bird feather taken from a bird nest can have different size and position in backpack. I presume they mean different size compared to feathers harvested from a dead bird, or feathers harvested from the body of a Waraha hostile native. Can't remember seeing it, although I think I have seen it once. Again, it's good that they've fixed it. It's not an important bug, but it can be annoying when you're trying to get space in your backpack and some feather is oversized and isn't leaving you the space you need. Fixed. A crash when handling stacks of particular items. No, the game's been pretty stable for me. I only remember 1 or 2 crashes ever happening, and those happened during early access, before the ability to move a stack was introduced. So again, I've not been affected by that, so it must be a pretty rare instance. Fixed. The decay timer differs for many items. Again, this is a little bit ambiguous. Do they mean that everything is supposed to have a different decay timer, but they're all decaying at the same speed? Or do they mean that everything should have the same decay timer and they're decaying at different rates? Or do they mean that everything has got different decay rates, but the actual decay time presented to the player is different from the decay rate that is set in the code of the game? So, for example, if a piece of meat is supposed to last you 5 days because you put it on the dryer, and it's decaying in 4 days instead of 5, I've not been happy with the decay timer since it was introduced. A lot of things seem to decay way too fast, particularly natural things that you pick up, such as green coconuts or coconut bidons, bananas, nuts, etc. And even some of the mushrooms are definitely not lasting 2 days before they decay out and disappear. Apparently they fixed it. We'll have to monitor that. They've also fixed the grappling hook and the climbing and diving gear and the maps disappearing when reloading survival autosaves. The only... well... I'm not sure I've ever reloaded an autosave. I've always reloaded from a manual save. So I can't comment on that. And from the sound of it, with the grappling hooks and the climbing, diving gear and maps, it sounds like it's only on the new parts of the map that were introduced with final release. Or at least the items from the new parts of the map. Fixed. A player loads under the airport shed when loading a save made using the calendar at the airport. Oh, I wish I'd seen that happen. Never had it myself. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Obviously some people have reported it and maybe even made videos of it. And the devs have seen it and they've fixed it. Full points to them for doing so. And lastly, player should be able to harvest campfire ash from charcoal. Ooh, that's new. I've never seen anybody do that. Never heard of anybody doing that. And I must admit, I've never tried it myself. So if we take charcoal and we harvest it, we get campfire ash. That is a game changer for building from mud. Because instead of just getting 3 ash from the charcoal burner, we could get as many as 18 if we used every piece of charcoal to harvest into ash. That I will have to science in a video very soon. So that's the list of fixes. Been quite a few of them, some quite important ones, and I'll thank you very much for sticking with me to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed the background playthrough that's been running while I've been reading these out for you, and I look forward to reading your comments, particularly if you've got any disagreements or examples of any of the fixes. Check your own playthroughs, see if the fixes have been fixed for you. Let me know in the comments. I'll look forward to seeing you for the next episode that we're playing of story mode currently on YouTube. I'll see you in that. From me, as always, it's not goodbye, it's just bye for now.